So today's advent calendar is the Renegade. This is going for 9,300 gold, which is kind of expensive actually. We will just purchase it just to get the missions and also the garage slot and stuff like that. So yeah, if you don't know already, you can purchase the tank again. You'll get refunded the gold, and for 300 gold, you basically get a garage slot, some ×5 missions for the tank, and also some crew. But is the Renegade worth that 9,300 gold? Well, the thing is, the tank is actually really, really good. The problem that it faces is its cupola. And sure, for randoms, it's fine. Like, you can make some credits in it. It's got more than enough standard pen, 226 standard, and you go all the way up to 255 with really nice shell velocity as well on the APCR rounds. But it is that cupola that lets this tank down. If it didn't have a cupola, this thing would be just broken OP, but I don't feel like it quite needs a cupola of this size. For me, it really does kill the tank quite a bit, and considering that kind of the closest competitor to this tank is something like the E75TS, with very, very similar kind of gun, as you can see, is pretty similar, and this just doesn't really have that kind of problem. So overall, I think the E75TS is better than the Renegade. But if you want to have an American tank and you want to, train some crew members up in it and stuff like that, I suppose you can't go too wrong with it. Is it better than the Patriot? It's actually kind of a tough one to say. A lot of people will just say yes straight away, but the Patriot is actually quite nice. It's considerably smaller, as you can see, if we just go between the two. So it's a lot harder to actually, it's not as kind of wide and chunky, let's say. And especially that turret. When you turn the turret, you can actually get shot a lot in this kind of area here. Especially if you're going around a corner and stuff and that end bit pops out around the corner, you can get shot in it quite easily. So I prefer the Patriot, I think I'm going to say. Just purely for the fact that it is kind of more versatile and, in my opinion, has a better turret. Just because it's not as easy to pen as this thing is. Is the Renegade better than a 703-2? No. No way is this thing better than a 703-2. I really hope that this thing comes in the advent calendar because it is a really nice tank to have. And basically, realistically, the only tanks that you really need as premiums are a 703-2, Progetto, and then maybe a TD if you wanted it, like a Scorpion G or, the Skoda. Like, that can also work. So you have, like, 2 heavies and a medium. But, like, by far, I think my top 2 tanks are a 703-2 and a Progetto. But going back to the Renegade, the standard kind of loadout, I would say, is going to be Vents, Rammer, V-Stab, because you actually get enough view range purely from the crew skills and the field mods. Field mods on this tank are really nice, as are most of the heavy tanks where they're kind of versatile and whatnot. So all-terrain suspension to give you that boost across all the different terrain types. You want to have the aim circle size reduced. So as you can see, it goes down from 0.35 to 0.34. And then view range, because then even without food, you have 456 meters view range. And then you can go and choose the firepower slot, and you're actually a really competitive tank once you do all of this. Because you have decent reload time, you have decent DPM, you have vents in the kind of good slot, and then you have your rammer in the good slot as well. You don't really need to worry about dispersion too much. It's actually quite good on the Renegade, so I wouldn't bother putting it into there, but you could do if you wanted to. But I think the rammer is more important in that situation. And then all you have to do is use food on this tank, and it becomes very, very nice. Like, you have 477 meters view range, 0.32 accuracy, 2.3k DPM, and nearly, 7.9 second reload, so about an 8-second reload. But we will just leave the first build just like this, and obviously this is the one with food. As you can see, you can tell the differences right there. Other configurations can be done with the Renegade. You could go and get rid of vents, especially if you're using food, because you will have that boost of view range, so you don't really have to worry about that. And you could choose HP boost, which is a valid option. You go up to 1.7k, and your tracks are going to be a little bit more harder to kind of take out. Or you could go with a turbo, put it in that slot, and then choose the mobility slot, and you're zooming at 50 kilometers an hour with 17 pound to weight. So either really works. You still have good view range, you still have good accuracy, good DPM. It's not a bad tank overall. And that's my biggest kind of issue with the tank, is that I do like it, but I just find myself every single time that I play it hating the fact that I have this cupola on top of my head and it's just always getting shot. It's the biggest problem with the tank. If this was smaller, I'd have no problem just saying, yes, it's probably one of the best. In fact, if this was smaller a little bit, I would probably say that it's in line with the 703-2 with how good it is. Because just the gun and how everything on the tank works is so nice. And kind of as a complete package, it's better than the 703-2. But you're going to have to gun block so much and learn how to gun block so much by putting your gun up in the air to try and make them hit your gun instead of the cupola. So, yeah. It's definitely not for kind of the new player. So, do I recommend this tank? I say yes, but just know that if you buy this and then the 703-2 is next, I think you might be disappointed. Because this thing really is very, very good. But if you want to play it safe and you just want a tank that you can grind some credits with, against its own tier and below, it's going to be okay. Especially once you learn how to gun block and stuff. But obviously in tier 10, it's just going to get obliterated because, +2 matchmaking. Very nice. Anyway, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll see you all in the next one.